Okay.
Hello, I'm Tyler.
I'm Luke. I'm Wyatt.
And I'm Cyrus.
And he's Luke.
And I'm Tyler. So this week we're going to be talking about the Xbox One price drop, Ubisoft, and how they're being Ubisoft are now turning into the new EA. And
I have a question. Why
Yeah.
do you call it Ubisoft?
Ubisoft, people call it all sorts of crap.
Okay, just wanted to clear that out. All right.
Lots of people just call it crap.
Right now they do.
There's the joke.
It's like
And-
a Wacom pin tablet.
And to finish things off, we're going to talk about the holidays. Holidays are coming up. It's not quite Halloween yet, but we're just kind of discussing gaming as far as the holidays because, quite frankly, games get talked about a lot prior to the holiday. I mean,
This is copyrighted.
prior?
This is
is that prior?
copyrighted.
I can't words right now. Before the holidays, they talk about it in a large segment
Yes.
in advance. So we're gonna do the same, and let's jump right into it.
Boing.
The Xbox One price drop. Everything cool with Sydney? Cool.
I think we
Yeah.
should open up the show by taking bets on how much we're each going to spend on the Steam Christmas sale.
0.
It's gonna be around 50.
I'm not
I'd
spending
like
a
that.
dime on the Christmas
I'm
sale.
gonna say
Not a dime.
Actually, I might not spend that much. There hasn't been that many good games that have been released that I want.
That's why I won't spend a dime.
Because I've already gotten a lot of the ones I want. Unless there's like a gym that comes up for sale.
I was telling your brother earlier, I was like, this is kind of getting the holiday segment, but like I was kind of telling your brother that I'm actually looking more forward to EA or Origin sales.
I don't
'Cause
even have Origin on.
Because
my
there's a
favorite
lot of games that I don't have from Origin that I probably want, like Mass Effect.
Sims.
Sims
Yeah.
4, man.
But like
Oh yeah.
if
That's
they
my game.
put the Mass Effect series on sale, I'll buy it. If they Crisis 3,
They-
I'll probably buy it.
Oh, Crisis 3 is on Origin?
Yeah.
Oh.
For
I
me,
need
you
to get
guys,
Origin.
you guys have seen my library. Like, I'm going to be buying all those weird indie games that I couldn't bring myself to pay full price for because they're so strange,
But when they're 50 cents to $1, sold!
right? And I'll probably spend $50 on Steam on like
Just
$1
small crap.
games.
$51 games.
We'll say that for the last part, but let's just talk about the Xbox One price drop. So today, October 27th, Microsoft just announced that they're going to be having a $50 price drop for the Xbox SKU without Kinect. Now that comes kind of as a surprise. Does it kind of surprise?
Yeah, I mean, it just kind of like showed up actually from you on my Facebook wall today. And I was
Right.
If I remember
Cool.
correctly, Microsoft wasn't actually making that much money at the price point they set anyways. So I don't know if they're losing money by doing this or what.
It depends because now that the consoles have had a year of production, the price of hardware could have gone
Yeah.
down. So the cost to build the system could have gone down, and that's what have maybe given them the ability to actually, which is something that might not be able for the PlayStation because GDDR5 RAM is still expensive no matter what way you look at it.
Yep.
So everything in the Xbox there is potential for price drop, especially with with DDR4 RAM coming out. DDR3 RAM is actually a lot cheaper now because that's dropping in price. The CPU itself is going to inevitably drop. But I think we were all kind of a little bit surprised.
Yeah, I know.
So.
I mean, for myself, you'd think like holidays coming up, they're just gonna ramp up marketing. But I mean, taking $50 off of every unit, they're gonna move a lot of them.
Especially with the games being sold this holiday.
Oh yeah,
Sunset Overdrive.
They've held off long enough on a lot of them to get people excited.
Yeah, you got Sunset Overdrive, the Master Chief Collection. You have all the third parties like Assassin's Creed Unity, GTA 4. What else? What other games are coming out?
Advanced Warfighter?
Warfare. Yeah, Advanced Warfare is coming out. Call of Duty
Yay.
next week actually. But just a
Already?
ton- Yeah.
That's one game that hasn't been that hyped for me, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I saw
Maybe
it.
I'll
I saw
play
it
it.
on Twitch today.
Yeah.
I saw it on Twitch. It looked so stupid.
It looks like
Call-
Call of Duty
Yeah, that's why.
with jetpacks. Yay.
That sounds fun.
Then go play Titanfall.
I was just gonna say that.
Was made by the same people who made Call of Duty.
So, because that game's already out. There's not a whole lot to talk about this, but I do kind of want to talk about how the internet reacted. Because there's kind of both sides of it, and being who we are as a people of this podcast, we always seem to come in the middle. And I kind of like that about what we do, is that we always just kind of seem to take these extremes and just come right down the middle and say, hey, you know what, there's good and bad to both sides. And that pisses a lot of people off more often than I realize, because they're like, well, you always go to the middle. It's like, because
It makes sense.
Wow. Because we're right.
So, I want to ask you guys, what do you, like, there's been a lot of reaction, especially from, like, Sony fans. Obviously, that was bound to happen, but a lot of their arguments are because they have an inferior system, that they had to do a price drop in order to compete with the PlayStation. Yeah, let me kind of elaborate. Like, their mentality is, you know, if they had a legitimate system, they would have no problem keeping it at the price point that it was at originally if it was that good. So, what are your thoughts?
I don't think it's an inferior system in the first place. It's a different system. Like, I will give PlayStation users kudos here. It is an inferior system as far as gaming goes. Easily. But
Unless you like holding a controller that's not going to give you carpal tunnel.
Yeah. DualShock controllers. But the Xbox One wasn't really made to be purely a gaming console. It was sold as a entertainment hub. You plug your DVD player into it, plug your TV into it. Everything is effectively supposed to run through the Xbox One. So it wasn't necessarily made or even marketed just to be a gaming console. That was like originally what the Xbox was, but the One was sold as more than that. So,
And in fact, I was surprised at how little actual stuff about gaming I saw following Xbox One online through its development. There were a few major titles announced, and the rest was all...
Which I
the
think
sheer
is what pissed a
capability
lot
of
of
the
people
system.
off, though.
yeah, but
Because they kind of felt betrayed. I use that really loosely, but like, because there are people who are really, you know, like they stick to one company, and if that company does them wrong, it's betrayal and
Nintendo fanboys.
yeah. But a lot of, I personally, as a gamer, I was really kind of disappointed that was their vision, like, to begin with. Like, I was like, listen, I don't care about all that extra BS. I'm not gonna use it. That's me as a gamer, and I know, understand, you know, as a family-oriented box, because I know a lot of gamers, they grew up. A lot of people who were with the original Xbox 360 are now parents.
Well, let's look at the Xbox 360 and the PS3. The Wii sold more units than the Xbox 360 and PS3 combined.
because it was revolutionary.
Yeah.
Well, not necessarily revolutionary, but it was done perfectly.
But when it comes to gaming standards, it was the inferior console.
Yeah, but it was done so well and marketed so well, and Nintendo.
And so Xbox One, Microsoft saw that, and was like, let's hop on that train. And let's make this an entertainment hub and more family friendly.
Except what people really saw the Xbox as was more of a dedicated, like, more of the hardcore gaming.
Exactly.
Seeing
And
as though
so-
it had all the first-person shooters.
But
Exactly.
that's where the
so
Kinect
that's
emerged.
yeah, that's like the Kinect, but like that's where the people are feeling the betrayal because they're like, we thought you were hardcore gamer guys like us.
Personally,
Go ahead.
Personally, for me though, like with the Xbox One and even Windows 8, a lot of people hated them. But the thing I really liked and looked forward to about both of them, because I watched a lot of stuff about Windows 8 before it came out, a lot of developer stuff, a lot of keynotes, and I was super excited for it, and I wasn't let down by it. Like, I knew it wasn't going to be Windows 7, and I was fine with that. I was interested to see like the innovations that they did with it, because they tried something that hadn't really been done before with an OS, and I really like appreciated that. Same with the Xbox One. They kind of threw a curveball, and I was like, that's awesome.
What I think. You want go ahead because I remember you had a thought.
They threw a curveball and people threw a fit, but they stuck it out, and now the Xbox One is a killer system that's doing everything they promised, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and that is something to be said. And now that they have gotten all that out of the way, by that I mean their Sydney is it freezing at all? Okay, I just heard the CPU ramp up.
Well, you heard the fan.
Fan ramp up, yeah.
I can hear binary.
You ride that technicality, Wyatt.
But they got their old head of Xbox out of the way, Don Matrick. They got him gone. He stepped down. BS. I think
He was assassinated.
like he stepped down and went to go work for Zynga. All right, so like
And now they're all
Insult
dead.
to injury is what that is.
my point in this is I think he was the kind of the head. Well, obviously he was the head of Xbox, but he was the head for all of this football, TV, Netflix. It was like all these little aspects. And granted, he was. I think what he was doing was he was gathering all the information of what people were doing with the box. Netflix. That was a big thing for a while. People were only using their Xbox for Netflix, which is fine.
Yeah.
Get that piece right, but don't cram all this other stuff that not necessarily everyone wants. But I do appreciate the push for innovation.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think I got to experience it a little bit because I moved my Xbox into my living room to connect it to my TV. It was a near flawless experience of just changing channels with my remote or with my controller. Everything it was a very clean experience. But they forgot the core reason of why it's even called an Xbox. The Xbox originally was named after DirectX.
Mhm.
So, and DirectX is highly affiliated with gaming. Don't screw that up first. That is your core.
It
So-
also sucks compared to OpenGL. I hope no programmers watch this.
He's right.
No one watches this anyways. Anyway, so that's kind of my thoughts. Just they need to get back to their core of gaming, and that's where I believe the new head of Xbox, Phil Spencer, is taking it.
I'm glad though that Microsoft is experimenting because
Yeah.
PlayStation is playing really safe with this.
And if
My
they,
friend, remember my friend from last week? He
Yes.
said the exact same thing before the consoles had come out.
if
Oh.
Sony continues doing that, they're already going
I'm saying
downhill
it
in the first
still
place.
remains
And
valid.
if they continue just making consoles that don't do anything new besides ramp up hardware, everyone's just gonna go to PC gaming by that point, anyways.
Yeah.
Which we
'Cause-
don't want, because that's going to drive forward the creation of terrible games that are distributed for like, oh man.
Mm-hmm. And like, if that's all they do is continue ramping up hardware, then the PC Master Race guys have a very, very valid opinion.
And we
'Cause
don't want to give them any more bullets.
Yeah, because in that case, then PC gaming is infinitely superior. Because it's a lot easier and it's a lot more accessible, and you can build your own system with higher specs anytime you want. And
And continuously upgrade your one machine without buying a whole new one.
yeah, and that's something I like appreciate the Xbox One for, is like them pushing Kinect, them pushing for new features that you can't use on a PC. Xbox record that, and even like Nintendo with the Wii U. Yeah, sure, it wasn't good at all, but still, it was a step in a new direction that they'll be able to refine in their next system.
Well,
Well,
go ahead.
Something that just occurs to me is the taste with which some of these things are done. So like, look at the Wii U. All the Wii U games use Wii U features, like I would say probably excessively, because that's a tendency of Nintendo. When the DS came out,
Everything was
you were
touchscreen.
drawing stuff on the screen in every game. I'm like, I'm trying to play Call of Duty,
It's true.
not what's that iPhone app where you send drawings to your friends?
Draw something.
Draw something.
That was-
Yes, Call of Duty should not be draw something. So there's like this excess of like the use and abuse of their cool new features, whereas you look at games like Red Steel on the Wii. Again, I'm going back to the Wii. It had motion-based controls, but it was literally just like swing the Wii remote in the direction you want to slash, and that was it. The rest of it was just like shooting and stuff.
To me,
Where if you look at like Kinect, some games it's like, do this. You know, it's a cool feature, but it's not abused. It's not right up in your face.
well, to me in general, I don't think third parties should even worry about those first party features.
With the Kinect, I think they should, because otherwise it's useless.
I think it's useless for third parties because it's more useful for first parties. Like, I feel like if you're gonna
doesn't make enough games.
What about second parties? Where are their rights?
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
They have
like,
rights
in
too.
general, every time, like, here's a good example.
Parties.
It was Battlefield. Like you were saying, they had like these little things that you did, but they're useless. Like, every time something like that has ever been implemented from a third party, it's been near useless. It's like no one actually uses it. It's just kind of a gimmick. And it's just like,
End War. Tom Clancy's End War. You ever play that game?
Nope.
All voice control. It was a strategy.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
That
actually
sounds-
kind of cool. That sounds really
cumbersome.
Yeah, that
It
sounds
was
really clunky.
super clunky.
but if they
it was cool.
refined that
Yeah,
idea,
it was
You know,
so.
binary domain. We were playing a few minutes of that, and just a few minutes in, you're already like getting stuck on these voice commands.
I don't have a microphone.
the problem is if nobody's using them, it just becomes like another pre-launch Xbox One Microsoft of trying to constantly push something, and the consumers are like, no, no, we don't want this. Even though you keep saying you will love it, we don't want it. We may be wrong, but we don't want it.
Well, I think my key point though is that it doesn't have to be a distracting thing. It doesn't have to take you out of the game. It might just be that, okay, since you can use your shield by doing this, you no longer have to leave the right joystick to go to the buttons. You know,
It's-
so you can utilize features to make a smoother game without throwing them up in your face.
It's like the 3D phenomenon that happened in cinema,
Yeah.
where like Spy Kids 3D, where they pushed 3D
So bad.
all the time.
And
They
everybody
went
was
through
always
it.
pointing something at the screen.
Yeah, or they would throw an item.
Can
or
we shoot couch time in 3D?
We don't have two cameras.
Let's get 2 red epics before next week. And
Well,
Get two Black Magics.
and they would do that all the time, and they started shying away from that, and like just trying to like it was there, but it wasn't always there. But now most movies don't even do that anymore.
yeah.
Thank the Lord.
I mean, there were a few, like, towards the end of it, I was like, 3D is kind of coming into its own
Yeah.
now. I think Avatar was one of them that was actually pretty well done.
It-
Uh,
Something about that though is like it's not that they got rid of that necessarily, but they refined it.
Yeah.
yeah.
And back to the.
We got way off of the price drop.
Yeah, well, back to number one, the price drop, but like, it is interesting because when we come back to like how PlayStation fans are reacting to this thing, they're a little ridiculous, but that's out of nature for them to be ridiculous about it.
Sony.
I'm really curious to see how Sony reacts to this. Number one, and like we were saying earlier, their hardware that they have in there isn't necessarily up for price drop. And
Right.
by that I mean the amount that the amount that they have received over the year does not necessarily mean that the production of GDDR5 has gone down,
Right.
because that is a high frequency RAM that's not cheap.
And this is smart because think of all the uneducated buyers who are just like, okay, how much is the PS4? 400?
Yep.
400, 350. 400, 350. I'll get the 351 for myself.
Right. Well, and yeah, they're
And
getting
that's exactly
the same,
how
the
PlayStation
same
would
major
win it.
titles because PlayStation is not getting that many great exclusives.
Doesn't
So-
have Sunset Overdrive.
No Sunset Overdrive.
It's a brand new IP, by the way. Like I just
Yeah.
want to throw that out there. We haven't had
Hooray!
a new IP other than Titanfall, which
Shadow
is
of
just
Mordor.
That wasn't-
Shadow of Mordor.
I guess
It's
it
not
was
an
kind of.
exclusive IP, but it's a
Titanfall?
new IP
No.
nonetheless.
I was gonna say it's not necessarily a new IP, but I guess it is.
Well, okay.
Like,
It's not necessarily new intellectual property.
Yeah.
No, but it was a new concept.
yeah, it was a new concept. Well,
Okay. It was something different. Let's
it
just
was something,
Retreat.
It was something different before we piss everybody off.
They're saying the same thing in different ways here.
And then you have things like the Master Chief Collection. And we could probably talk hours on that, but like
You
could
talk
talk
hours
hours
on that.
okay, I could talk hours on that.
Damn boy.
But just the reality of the content that you're getting out of that. Well, I mean, like you were saying, 400, 350, 400, maybe 415 for double the content. Because like if you're going to get the Master Chief Collection, you're getting 4 games. With 4 games, you're getting a web series and you get access to a beta.
and nice controllers.
Next control.
Right.
And it's just like
Your
there's
thumbs
just so
will
much
thank you.
more content that the Xbox is providing versus what does the PlayStation have right now.
Naughty
Now
Dog
they may
games.
have something coming.
Naughty Dog.
They may have something coming, but not this year.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they,
certainly not this Christmas season.
yeah,
Like,
they have
that
nothing
last
really.
Christmas they were dominating, but that doesn't really mean anything when the console's first released.
And meanwhile, Smash Bros is just like.
Oh,
yeah,
I'm
there's-
getting a Wii U just for that.
Yeah.
I will be buying a 3DS for that one, and I will be spending the
I
extra
will not
$10
be buying
to
a
get.
Wii U for Smash. 3DS. I'm not. Like,
I'm
I don't,
getting-
I'm gonna spend the extra $10 and get the Super Smash Brothers Edition 3DS too. Heck yeah!
I should get that.
Okay, so
It has Link on it
Plus,
and
it
Mario.
has better hardware than my old one.
let's transition gears
I think
into
so.
into our next topic of Ubisoft.
Even though I don't think it mattered that
Can we just all like laugh for the next 10 minutes and then?
Ubisoft. Assassin's Creed.
So,
Watch underscore dogs.
Make that joke every podcast.
Yeah.
so as probably many of you know, Ubisoft is doing some really stupid things right now. Not necessarily like I don't really have a problem with the problems that people are pissed off about. It's how they're
It's how they're dealing with them.
right.
We could have like a little montage scene with some like happy little music about Ubisoft in 2014, and just it'd be like a segment of America's Funniest Home Videos.
Resolution's just a
I'll
number.
do it.
Right? Do it. Make it happen.
I can live without resolution. I can't live without frame rate. I'd rather have a higher frame rate.
I can live with 30
Does anyone
frames.
remember when?
Yeah.
I can live with 30 frames, but if it's like
Oh, if it's under 30, I can't play it.
Oh,
When they said they're gonna.
I actually played all of DayZ in 21 frames, so. And I
Well,
killed
if it-
people with excellent rigs.
If it was
So.
if it was a consistent 21 though, you'd get used to it.
anything
It
consistent.
would drop depending on the amount of zombies. Horrible optimization for that mod.
Does anybody remember when they were just like first kind of announcing Unity, and they said they weren't gonna have a female lead because she'd be too hard to animate?
That's
Even,
kind of humorous, but at the same
even
time,
though they had a Assassin's Creed right before that, Liberation, I believe, where
Yeah.
the protagonist was
A black
woman,
female.
female,
yeah, the black female.
racist.
So.
I
all the
can
Tumblr people are like, yeah.
I can
Diversity.
understand it. Like, okay, I can understand that it would be extra work to make a new female.
But come
That-
on, what are you paying all those professionals for?
Right.
Like a 500-man team, and you can't add a female protagonist.
But okay,
I see this like board meeting, and all these like guys in suits are thinking about what their animators are gonna have to do, and they're like, oh,
yeah.
I don't know if we can do this.
Once again, this is a situation for me that I felt I didn't necessarily care about, but it was how they handled it. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, if that is your creative vision for the game to have just a male protagonist, that's fine. I'm not worried about that. But
You're-
don't make a fool of yourself.
Don't post it all over the internet that you're not gonna have one.
Right, and then say it's because it's too hard.
They
Yeah,
honestly
exactly.
should have just been like, we do what we want. You're still gonna buy our game.
I don't-
Exactly.
I don't think I would have noticed had
No?
they not. I mean, like
announced it.
Yeah, if they hadn't.
I think the
Slash
only
thing
time you
on
would
the
have
internet.
noticed it were from like the gamer
Whining
chicks.
bloggers.
Like it was all the
Feminists.
the female gamers who were getting.
Indie Game Developer
Upset.
Network.
And I definitely don't pay any attention to them either. So
I do sometimes. They have a lot of cool stuff that goes up on there.
Oh, we could. Oh, that's like Gamergate and all that going on with the death threats. Have you guys read about that?
did you?
To
Are
Gabe
you talking
Newell?
about Gabe Newell? Then?
Xenonauts?
Oh, that was a whole different. That's a whole different
Yeah.
like,
But that's a
section
whole
of game
different
threat.
podcast.
Yeah, but yeah, that was ridiculous.
Don't
We
do
could-
that.
Do we have time for that? We good.
We can add one in. So what happened?
I don't know
Okay.
if we have time to get through all three and do that.
I'll just
The holidays won't take up that much time.
touch
considering
on
we're
this really
talking-
quick because
Yes.
it's kind of funny. The guy who developed,
Step
I believe
down.
the game was called Paranautical Activity,
That's
Yeah,
it. It wasn't
Paranormal.
Xenonauts.
Not
was
nautical.
Yeah.
featured on the Steam homepage for some like Halloween themed sale. And
It was titled as Early Access.
right, it said in early access at the bottom of his game, even though it had recently come out of early access. And
What in the beta?
laced with excessive profanity, he threatened to kill Gabe Newell on Twitter. And his game magically disappeared from Steam. So you've probably seen it on the homepage. And if you're wondering why it disappeared so quickly,
Death threats.
death threats to Lord
And he
Gaben.
has since stepped down, and he's like, I'll probably get a job at some like, I think he said crappy AAA company. I'm like, you're not
Right.
gonna get a job at a AAA company now because you just called them all crappy. I'm like, you're an idiot all around. Don't
And
work in this field.
You also
You're going to
insulted-
work at McDonald's,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah, you insulted Gabe Newell and you still expect to get into the PC gaming crowd.
I know.
Like, if anybody, that should be your fallback.
Right?
Yeah.
Maybe you can go work on Fez too.
Yeah.
Join that rage
Yeah, seriously.
party.
This is kind of the reality of a game developer. Is like you would think that you would want to aspire to do AAA stuff first, and then have a fallback for the PC because that gives you a little bit more creativity after you've had a little bit more experience in a professional field. Not when you're going straight to PC and just lifting the finger at like the father of PC gaming.
The people I feel bad for though are the other members who were working on that game.
Yeah, it's just like
Yeah.
And they're like, well, there goes our game. You know,
There
we've
goes
been
our
working on
careers.
it. Like, okay, but
Now
he
we have no
did
money.
step down and say it was just like him, and so I guess they may be working to get it back on, because it's really not their fault that they
No.
got
Hire
Right.
the guy.
he stepped
Imagine how like
Did he
takes
actually
the rest
step
of
down
his
from the
team
project?
down.
has to
Yeah,
be.
no, he's not working on the project anymore.
Like I know if like Wyatt went off the deep end
He
because
sold his share. of
because
it.
our game was on Steam, labeled as early access. Because
it's
Wyatt,
not gonna happen.
Wyatt's not very level-headed. He's liable to blow his top at any moment, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, look at him. He's furious.
Uh,
Hold him back, guys.
er,
I mean, like, okay, so being featured on the Steam
Holding you
homepage
back.
guarantees you, I'm pretty certain, a relatively
Large amount of sales.
even
Yeah.
if it is in early access, a lot of people still like the idea of early access.
right. In fact, I just picked up The Long Dark in early access, and it's good. But I mean, for the rest of the team, that's a pretty serious blow to get that taken away from you. I mean, especially when you're doing this full time, your financial future is leaning on this, and all of a sudden, one person has a temper tantrum and ruins it. Like, now I'm kind of mad at you. Actually, don't do that. I'm just kidding. I won't.
More than once.
Right, Wyatt is actually probably the least liable to explode of any of us. Second least liable, Sydney just looked up from.
It's just such a
I think-
small.
Yeah,
like,
Sydney would be the one to explode. PR people.
Right, Sydney's gonna threaten to kill Gabe Newell.
and then I'll have to be the PR person, and nobody wants that.
Nobody wants
But
that.
you're so sensitive.
Every one of
Luke.
you have really bad taste in games. That is all.
That is all.
Wait, that's a fun little tangent. I'm glad we got a chance to talk about that one.
Well, it is interesting because it's just I've seen this kind of thing talked about across the internet. It's like
The interwebs.
what as gamers we want to be taken seriously in the general public, and then this crap happens.
Yeah.
Right?
Like we're getting nowhere if we have guys like this who are speaking louder than the silent majority. Like people like the media will take that and put it on their top screen and say, "Look at this terrible culture."
I know. I read it from the homepage of TechSpot, I believe, is where
I got it from Indie Dev, the group on Facebook. Somebody's
that's where I saw
brought that same exact thing up. Is that nobody's gonna take us seriously if people keep doing this?
Right, even after the what was it, the Dota 2 Internationals show up on ESPN, and that's like huge for the gaming community, and yet it was even louder that this guy's flipping out over his game being labeled in early access. Yeah, you're exactly right.
And like when GTA 5 came out, it was like there was a couple like news articles that like some guy went crazy and like killed somebody over buying the game or whatever.
Right.
It was just like that crap happens no matter where you go. It doesn't matter if you're in the gaming culture or you're at a football game or you're at a baseball game.
People get trampled on Black Friday.
Exactly.
Yeah, there was a
Don't
guy.
do that.
The year PS3 came out, there was stories of people shooting each other for them. Like, but people do that for anything.
That was one of
It's
them.
just that,
It's just like
Illegal weed drugs.
right? You should see the gunshot wound in Luke.
Yeah.
He doesn't go out much on Black Friday anymore.
speaking of Black Friday,
Straight from
segue.
Always wanted
Let's
to
kind
segue.
of let's end this up with the holidays.
Which
So
is perfect. Yeah. Black Friday.
so
Yeah.
the holidays are still in the distance, but they're kind of on people's mind. They're starting to come on people's minds
They are approaching.
because
Winter's
Halloween is
coming.
here and everybody's excited about Halloween, and you know what happens after Halloween. The day after, you'll see a freaking advertisement somewhere.
Oh yeah.
But that's
The
not
day
what
after
that's not what we're
Halloween
here
is
to talk
Christmas
about.
Eve.
We're not here
And
to.
it's Christmas Eve until December 25th.
Oh God.
The
We're not here to talk.
wonderful time.
We're not here to talk about our
Oh,
love or
yeah.
dislove for Christmas. We're talking about
Dislove.
Dislove.
Oh, dislove.
dislove for Christmas. But
I just love eggnog.
Dislove.
okay, so we kind of
Dislove.
talked about in the beginning, or was that? Did we talk about that before the thing crashed?
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Yeah, what's the beginning of this one?
Okay, so obviously Steam. If there's a game on Steam right now that you could have that went on sale during the winter sale, what would you guys get?
I already got an Nidhogg.
Okay, but a game you can't do that.
Oh man.
Oh, I just remembered that. We didn't put up that episode. That was before we actually started redoing it. Because I talked about wanting
yeah.
Nidhogg for the summer sale.
I remember that. Wow,
But
that was that
That
long
was a
ago.
long time
That was
ago.
You'll never see
I would
that.
say,
Ever.
I don't know. I would say Sims 4, but it's not on Steam. It's on Origin.
Would you buy it on Origin if it was on sale?
Oh yeah. Yeah, which is interesting because a lot of people hate Origin, but I'm like, there are games on Origin that I'm looking at Steam when I'm seeing that banner go across. I'm like, boring, not interested. Like I'm not interested in a lot of these games.
Mm-hmm.
They're rehashes or they're platformers. That's what I feel
I-
like they are now.
I do have 22 games on my wish list still.
Let's see. Oh, there was that one RTS one.
I want to pull up my wish list right now, 'cause
Devastation.
I'm having
I
a
don't
really
know what
hard
it was
time.
called. Yeah, there are a few games. I just can't remember. They're on my wish list.
Have you played Life is
It's
Fine
actually
yet?
interesting that you say
have.
that because
Is it working on your computer?
we're talking about
It does, I'll probably have to drop it
Ubisoft,
just a
Ubisoft,
little bit.
but like EA
Yeah.
is kind of just hiding in the shadow of Ubisoft being stupid.
Yeah, they're letting Ubisoft
They're like-
take all the blame right now.
Huh. They're like, guys,
Yeah.
Right, let's not do anything stupid for 10 minutes.
Keep working on Hardline, make sure it actually works, and let them dig a hole.
yeah. Anyways,
Oh yeah, hard.
I'm like I think you may have heard this. Maybe it was on the one that froze, but like I'm not buying anything
Almost
on
got
this
that
on the
for
Steam
you,
Winter Sale.
Sure.
There's not a game out there that I am like
Yeah.
I need. I pretty much have the games that I want or wanted. And I'm not really too keen on trying anything new until I finish the ones that I have.
I want to get Goddess.
People
That's one I'm probably gonna get.
people are like, well, you always gotta try something new. It's like, well, I haven't even finished like half the games in my library.
I was actually just discussing this with my dad. I was talking about how I just need to start not buying Humble Bundles and just save all that and buy console games so that I'll actually finish the games I buy.
Yeah. And
Or buy expensive computer games.
I still need
I'm
to
gonna watch
finish
for
Bioshock.
Angvik
can't
to go
afford
on
it.
sale, man.
His computer can't run expensive.
True.
games.
$2.99 is a little steep for me, so I'm gonna wait for that one to go on sale.
But like,
I've seen that one for 50 cents.
I just need to finish my games. Like I haven't even finished the first Bioshock. I'm almost done. But
It's on iOS now.
yeah. It's
I have
crazy.
to beat
Bannerlord.
I have to restart it.
There's,
Oh,
think,
I
how
so
many
wanna
games
play
do you
Bannerlord.
guys
Banner
have?
Saga.
Banner
Banner
How many
Saga.
games?
Why does
Like
it say
how many
Bannerlord?
games do you guys
That's
have that
a-
you have not finished?
Let's see.
I don't want to
finished
count.
That's a DLC or
I finished
the
like
new
2 games in my
about
Steam
that.
library, and I have
the Lord
95
DLC
that are
we're talking
mine,
about.
apart from all
I
the
haven't
shared
really seen that
libraries I
much.
have. So,
It's disgusting how
Vikings.
many games I've started and haven't finished.
right? It's
That
horrible.
bugs me. Bugs me so much.
Mhm.
I haven't done that many. There's been a couple that are big, like Blackguards. I am like at the very last boss, and I still haven't played it. Child of Light. I am literally at the very last boss, and I died once, and I haven't gone back to it for some reason.
Sort of like, you know, when you like pick up a book and you
I need to
get
read
to
that.
the last chapter, but then you don't read it for a couple days, so you have to go back a little
Yeah.
Yeah.
bit. It's the same thing with games for me in my Steam library. I'm at the end of Splinter Cell.
Chaos Theory.
Yeah, Chaos Theory. Like, I've got probably like 15 hours into it, and I just haven't picked it up again. I'm halfway through Torchlight 2.
I kind of gave up on
I
Torchlight
have
too.
the same with me. I was on the final part of Mass Effect 3, and I was like, well, I gotta restart the entire game because I'm so rusty. And I tried playing, I was like, I can't do it. I don't know where I'm at in the story.
I'm same thing right now. Probably I'll come back to Shadow of Mordor because I haven't come back to it since I stopped playing. Same thing with like Destiny. I can live without playing for a while until they have DLC.
I'm back.
Because I finished
guys.
whatever story that was there. To me, it's like I'd rather finish the story if the game doesn't have a multiplayer. I'd rather have the story finished and stuff like that. So like with Destiny, once I finished the story of it, then I played for a while and ranked up my guy. I still haven't even done the raid, but I don't even care. Like I just want the story.
I am
Just want
kind of
the
excited
story.
about Styx Master of Shadows.
Hmm?
Styx Master of Shadows. That one excites me.
Mhm.
That game actually looks really good. I watched a couple reviews on it.
So I think we should make kind of a challenge for each of us to
Actually, complete a couple games in our library.
right
Let's just choose one game to complete in an entire one.
instead of
I like this.
I could do two.
Oh,
Blackguards and Child of Light because I'm at the very end.
We should like not allow ourselves to purchase another game until
like
we finish.
let's
Alright,
just say
let's do it.
$15 maximum purchasing. for-
Until we finished a game. Is that-
right,
is
like
that
you
the-
have to finish a game in order to exceed $15.
Can I beat One Finger Death Punch? Does that count?
No.
No.
That game is actually
The
ridiculously
game that
long.
you beat has to have the value in excess of $15.
And-
Super Hexagon
here-
beat
and
all of
here's-
them.
And here's another thing. You have to play it from start to finish. You can't
Okay.
start a game that you are like 90% of the way.
what about Warband?
Finishes Warband.
So
Dies
what
of
what should be
old
the
age.
deadline for this? Like
Next week.
Next week.
Beating a game in a week?
Beat a game in a week.
I can't spend that much
That's
time.
that's a
doing it.
challenge.
I
I don't
can't
have that
spend that
much
much time.
I don't either, but I'm still gonna do it.
You have 6 hours at Columbia.
So I'm doing homework during that time. I'm also taking 17 units.
True.
I haven't.
So what did you want? Okay,
Next
how about
month.
this? What's this? Is the 27th today? How about in
By the start
2
of
weeks?
December.
By the start of November, so 3 days. 4 days.
2 weeks.
2 weeks is fair.
Okay, 2 weeks.
Now we should.
Okay, now we need to choose our games.
Can you guys think of anything off the top of your head you want?
If you're watching this, that means the challenge goes out to you, so you have to do it. You're obligated to do it.
we're looking you in the eye.
This is like an ALS Ice Bucket Challenge, except with games. And we're not doing it for charity, you're doing it for yourself.
Game Bucket Challenge.
This is actually perfect because when I finish my game, I'll be able to play Master Chief Collection.
Sick.
I have my game, Sunset
cares?
Overdrive.
Sunset Overdrive. You're gonna beat it. Have you like started it?
It comes out tonight.
Oh, okay.
So
Wait. So we're not. It's not something that's already like sitting in our Steam library.
yes, but
It can be anything.
So I have to buy a game.
A
And
new
then
game.
play.
It can be in your Steam library.
right, it doesn't really.
Just a game you haven't beat yet.
Right, a game you haven't beat. So like once you start that game, you can't buy that.
So you're
you can't buy. How about let's just say you can't buy a game.
That's what I was. Yeah, that's.
Yeah, I don't know why I put a
There we
$15 maximum. Like you can't buy a game at all.
Can I beat Jet Set Radio Future?
Can you beat Jet Set Radio?
What about?
I don't know if it's even possible.
Does that
What
game
about
have an
Cos-
end?
What about Cosmic DJ? Can I?
I'll send you
How about
the
this?
DRM free version.
Ooh.
How about this? It has to be, like, either linear story.
Okay.
So not sandbox.
Yeah. So like
Yeah.
it would be ridiculous for you to do something like a RPG.
I'm gonna beat Skyrim in 2 weeks.
You know, I picked up the Half-Life games, and I picked up the first Portal recently.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll pick one of those.
Okay.
Yeah.
So well, you need to pick one now.
I'll wait till you guys pick one.
Are you gonna
Yeah. So Sunset Overdrive for me. So one of the
Sunset Overdrive?
Half-Lives. Half-Lives.
I need to go through my library.
I don't know what I'm gonna play.
I keep leaning towards XCOM.
Can you beat that?
Yes.
Do you have the Bureau?
No.
Oh, okay.
And
But
length
XCOM is still linear.
Length
Oh, okay.
of campaign doesn't matter
Ish.
because that's
Length
gonna
ish.
be too ridiculous to try to keep track of.
Yes.
There's one that just I could try to beat The Last Remnant. I have a feeling that that's over 40 hours though, because it's a JRPG. If you do everything, which I like doing JRPGs, then it'll take around 40 hours.
You don't. You're gonna drive yourself to suicide if you try and play through the entirety
2
of The
weeks.
Last Remnant.
I honestly think I would enjoy it after a while.
Your probably best bet is to find some like American shooter linear kind of thing.
I
That
could
you
beat
have-
Crisis.
Yeah.
I beat it. Wait, Crisis 1 or 2?
Crisis 2.
Crisis
I
2
don't
actually
have
has
Crisis.
not that
I
bad of a
actually
story,
liked
so-
the campaign of Crisis 2. So.
It was fun. I was really enjoying it, and then I got to the aliens, and I was like,
But then I got that alien gun.
How
that
far are
shoots,
you
like,
into
the
it,
green,
like,
like energy
percentage-wise?
orbs? So OP.
"What?
How far are you into it percentage wise? Because that'll kind of dictate whether you can do it or not.
Well, I mean, you could start a new campaign.
Yeah.
Okay, so start from scratch then.
Okay,
Okay.
so
I might
Crisis
not.
2.
I might not do Crisis 2 though. I don't know. That's like
XCOM.
Let me go look through my games.
I'll beat
Half-Life.
Okay, so we all have our games, and
Except maybe
the
one.
people I would like to nominate are
Zane.
Johnny Depp, Zane Newbaum, because he's going to beat all of his games in his library before the week's done.
Yeah.
'Cause that's how he rolls, because he doesn't... Never mind.
Can we nominate Mitt Romney?
I would like to nominate Mitt Romney. You need to beat Sims 4.
You need to beat the Mormon. You need to beat the Mormon Bible.
Don't hate on Mormons. They're people, too.
No, they're not.
Can I beat the plan?
Tyler's
No,
views
you
do
can't
not
beat the plan.
express...
Haven't you watched the South Park episode? They're not people.
South Park's views do not express...
What we were trying to convey.
Okay, so we've chosen our games, and you can do whatever you want because this is America. So we are super good entertainment, and this is.
Okay, hold on. Let's wait for Wyatt.
Oh, I was about ready to wrap this up, and you ruined
When
it.
Super Good becomes an empire, and
Do you know how long
Never mind.
Human Revolution is?
No.
Deus Ex.
I know it's
I can
linear.
beat the first one.
You should do that one.
I'll do the
I
first
heard
one.
linear, so I played like the first 10 minutes of it. It seemed pretty linear. So.
Yeah,
It's
it opens up a lot after a while.
Okay.
But I think I might beat the
Stick to
first Deus Ex.
Main story.
So we're super good entertainment, and this is the Couch Time Podcast. Thanks for watching.
peace out.